Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good morning. Today's commencement exercises begins with the entrance of the Philippine Military Academy Band. The Philippine Military Academy traces its roots on October 25, 1898, when the Academia Militar was established by the President of the Philippine Revolutionary Army.
Attention calls just been sounded, signaling the entrance of the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines. The Philippine Military Academy started with the establishment of the Academia Militar on October 25, 1898 at Malolos, Bulacan. By the power of a decree issued by the Philippine Republic President, General Emilio Aguinaldo, the Academia was a school which awarded its graduates regular commissionship in the Armed Forces of the Philippines, which lasted until 10 January 1899, before hostilities between the Filipinos and the Americans erupted. On 17 February 1905, an officers' school of the Philippine Constabulary was founded at the Walled City of Intramuros in Manila. 3 years later, on 01 September 1908, the school was transferred to Baguio City, initially at Camp Henry T. Allen and subsequently at Teachers Camp. On 08 September 1926, the Philippine Legislature passed Republic Act 3496, which renamed the school the Philippine Constabulary Academy and lengthened its course from 9 months to 3 years, with provisions to strengthen the faculty and revise its curriculum. On 21 December 1935, Commonwealth Act No. 1, also known as the National Defense Act, was passed. The act formally created the Philippine Military Academy and authorized to confer a Bachelor of Science degree to its graduates after they have successfully completed the 4-year course. The outbreak of the World War II disrupted training in the academy. Classes of 1942 and 1943 graduated ahead of schedule, and its members were assigned to combat units of Bataan and other parts of the country. Many perished in the war. On 05 May 1947, the academy reopened at Camp Henry T. Allen. Due to the need for water grounds, the academy moved to its present site at Fort del Pilar in Luacan, some 10 kilometers away from downtown Baguio City, and named after the young hero of Tira Pass, General Gregorio H. del Pilar. It was developed into a military training institution with facilities and infrastructures required by a growing academy. In the 1960s, The academy underwent major changes as socio-humanistic courses were added to balance the techno-scientific disciplines with a view towards providing a well-rounded education that is relevant to the needs of our growing AFP.
With the implementation of Republic Act 7192, the acceptance of women in the Academy was introduced. With this act, the Academy made a step towards the recognition of women's status and equality. The female cadets have undergone practically what their male counterparts have been tasked to do. Although living in separate quarters, they have been accorded equal treatment and training. Today, the Philippine Military Academy remains focused on its vision to reach the international standards for military academies in producing principled and competent military officers. Its mission adheres to a philosophy that adopts a holistic view of man's body, soul, and spirit. PMA believes that future leaders can be selected, formed, and developed to their fullest potentials. Under this concept, PMA's Leader Development Program contains character development, a balanced college education, military leadership, and physical development. This total person concept is aptly captured in the PMA mission statement. To instruct, train, and develop the cadets so that each graduate shall possess the character, the broad and basic military skills, and the education essential to the successful pursuit of a progressive military career. These young men and women in front of you compose the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines, coming from different regions of the archipelago, ranging as far north as Batanes to as far south as Tawi-Tawi. They were carefully selected through a series of competitive mental and physical examinations. These cadets represent different levels of our society and from all walks of life. These cadets before you are the future leaders of our armed forces and our nation.
Oh, Balongoy!
As soon as the platoons occupy their respective places, the brigade adjutant designates Alpha Company as the base company. In a brisk manner called the adjutant's trot, the brigade adjutant makes his way midway between the line of troops and the troop commander. In like manner, the battalion adjutants join the respective battalion staff. The brigade adjutant orders all platoon guides and sergeants to take their posts in line with their platoons.
Mga patnubay! Sumalinon!
May we request everyone to remain seated as we await for the arrival of the President. Please maintain silence. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Republic of the Philippines. He is accompanied by Lieutenant General Ronnie S. Evangelista, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Superintendent, Philippine Military Academy.
Sawa na ang bayan ko sa magnanakaw na tao. Madilim na kahapon, ikaw ang mag-aahon. Sa piling mo, di ko mawawala ang korupsyon. Tayo na, Pilipinas, tayo na magbago. Hawak kamay tayo para sa pag-asenso. Ikaw at ako, tayong lahat kay Rodrigo.
Please remain standing for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Tanghal! Go! Tanghal. Go!
Please be seated.
Mga pinuno, baba kamay. Na! Baba! Go!
The brigade adjutant faces about, salutes and renders to the brigade commander that the corps is formed.
Mga talupad, narito po ang lahat at napag-alaman. Mga pinuno, ang tabay bunot. Kalis.
In a short while, the brigade commander will give a series of commands for the corps to execute the Medal of Arms.
Pagsasanay sa paghawak ng sandata sa kanang balikat.
Starting with
Go!
right shoulder arms,
Sa kaliwang balikat. Go!
left shoulder arms,
Agap! Go!
port arms,
Baba! Go!
order arms,
Siyasat! Go!
inspection arms,
Agap! Go! Baba!
and finally,
Go!
order arms.
The brigade commander orders the adjutant to account the troops.
Tanggapin ang ulat.
After receiving the reports, the brigade adjutant faces about, salutes and renders to the brigade commander, Sir, the Corps, all present and accounted for.
Ginoo, mga talupad, narito po ang lahat at napag-alaman.
The brigade commander then orders the adjutant to publish the orders of the day.
Ihayag ang kautusan. Makinig sa kautusan. Ang nakatalaga ngayong punong tagapamahala Kapinandagpin sa utos ni General Bacaro mga pinuno Pumarap at pamagitna. Good!
After publishing the orders, the brigade adjutant gives the command officer's center march. He then proceeds to his position with the brigade staff, as the cadet officers from each battalion march forward to receive instructions from the brigade commander.
Communications, orders, and disseminations must pass through proper channels. This is a practice observed in the military profession, which signifies the importance of the chain of command. Through the chain of command, a more effective and efficient working arrangement results among men in arms. Now, approaching the grandstand, ladies and gentlemen, are the members of the chain of command, the officers of the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Drop! Good!
Upon the salute of his officers, the brigade commander acknowledges, gives his instructions, and directs them to proceed back to their respective posts. While inside the hallowed grounds of this great institution, the cadets must endure the challenging training. The military system characterizes and distinguishes the unique life inside PMA. It fosters punctuality, order, discipline, and respect for authority. By placing cadets in a uniform plane, it enables these young men and women to advance through self-reliance, initiative, and strength of character.
Mga pinuno, sumalikod ko. God!
The brigade commander presents the Corps to our guest of honor, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President, Republic of the Philippines.
Tanghal! Daw!
The audience is requested to stand.
Mga pinuno, tanghal. Daw!
Thank you. You may now be seated.
Mga pinuno, baba. Kalis. Ang dadala. Kalis. Baba! Tao! Mahal na Pangulo, handa na po ang mga talupad upang libutin.
Military ceremonial parades have been established to bestow honor to the Philippine flag, our national symbol. Recipients of awards and decorations are also accorded this honor. This is followed by the inspection of the troops if the reviewing officer so desires. President Rodrigo Roa Duterte was born on 28 March 1945 in Maasin, Southern Leyte, to Vicente Duterte and Soledad Roa. His mother was a public school teacher, while his father was a government worker. President Duterte traces his roots to the Visayas. He spent his early years in Danao, Cebu, the hometown of his father, and his lineage has also direct ties from Mindanao, as his mother hails from Cabalbaran, Agusan del Norte, while his paternal grandmother was a Maranao. In 1949, when he was 4 years old, his family resettled in the then undivided Davao, where his father Vicente later entered the political arena and was elected governor of the province and served from 1959 to 1965. President Duterte graduated in 1968 with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science at the Lyceum of the Philippines University and obtained a law degree from San Beda College of Law in 1972. He passed the bar exam that same year. He served as special counsel and later on became a city prosecutor at the City Prosecutor's Office in Davao City from 1977 to 1986, when he was appointed as officer in charge of the Vice Mayor of Davao City. Ladies and gentlemen, trooping in line before you is the President of the Republic of the Philippines, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. He is accompanied by the Superintendent of the Philippine Military Academy, Lieutenant General Ronnie S. Evangelista, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and by the Brigade Commander Cadet First Captain Jezreel A. Kalimag, CCAFP. President Duterte ran and successfully won the mayoralty post in 1988. Since then, he has not lost an election. He was among the longest-serving mayors in the Philippines and has been mayor of Davao City for 7 terms, totaling more than 22 years. He also served as vice mayor and as congressman of the city's 1st congressional district. On May 9, 2016, President Duterte won in a landslide victory as the Philippines' 16th president. He was officially proclaimed by a joint session of the Philippine Congress on May 30, 2016. He is the first Mindanaoan president and the first local chief executive to get elected straight to the office of the president. Similarly, the whole academy embraces the change the president institutes in the same way that it continues to implement reforms that would align the academy's mission and vision to that of the Philippine society. Looking back at history, trooping the line was brought about by the invasion of mainland Greece by the Dorians in 1200 BC. This is the act of inspecting the soldiers before and after each battle. Today, we still observe this military tradition to signify the common trust between the troops and their commander. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Republic of the Philippines. Please be seated.
Mga pinuno sa malikod ko. God!
At this juncture, we shall now witness the turnover ceremony of the chain of command of the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Ang mga kadeteng nakatakdang mamuno, humarap at pumagitna. God! Mga pinuno pasulong. God! Mga pinuno! Stop! Mga kadeteng namumuno, antabay salong. Kalis! Taas! Saksak! Baba!
We shall now witness the exchange of salutes by the outgoing and incoming cadet officers.
Ang mga kadeteng nakatakdang mamuno, ugay kamay! Na! Mga pinuno, pugay kamay. Na! Ang mga kadeteng namumuno, pugay kamay! No! Mga pinuno, pugay kamay. No! Mga pinuno, baba kamay. No! Ang mga kadeteng namumuno, baba kamay! No! Mga pinuno, baba kamay. No! Ang mga kadeteng nakatakdang mamuno, baba kamay! No! Ang mga kadeteng namumuno, isalin ang pamumuno.
We shall now proceed with the formal turnover of the CCAFP chain of command. Starting with the platoon leaders. Company commanders and staff. Battalion commanders and staff. Brigade staff. And finally, the brigade commander.
Mga kadeteng, magsisipag tapos. Humarap at pumagitna. Lupod! Do!
You have just heard the sound of the attention call, which signals the entrance of the graduating cadets.
Pasulong! God!
The cadetship starts the moment they step in the hallowed grounds of the Borromeo Field of the Philippine Military Academy. On 03 August 2014, 11,811 young men and women from across the country took the Philippine Military Academy entrance examination. Each of them was hoping to be part of the PMA Class 2019. 1,189 passed the written examination, but only 874 reported to the designated medical centers to take the psychological and physical test. Finally, through a series of competitive tests, 349 strong neophytes emerged and was selected to be the members of the PMA MABALASIK class of 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, before you is the PMA MABALASIK class of 2019.
Mahal na Pangulo, ang mga kadeteng magsisipagtapos, narito pong lahat.
We shall now witness the commencement exercises of the Philippine Military Academy, MABALASIK Class 2019. Tirso A. Dolina, Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Chief Chaplain Service, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
People of faith, let us offer our prayer. In freedom and in peace, let us worship God alone, the Almighty, most gracious, most merciful, faithful, forgiving, and source of wisdom and truth. O Creator of life, deep in our hearts we believe and trust in you as we direct the attention of our minds and the devotion of our hearts to your sacred and eternal presence in our midst on these hallowed grounds for the graduation ceremony of PMA MABALASIK class of 2019. On behalf of these cadets who are about to graduate and to be commissioned as officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we beseech you to accept our humble supplications. And so we bow to you in thanksgiving for you sustain the health, endowed with knowledge, and shape the character of these cadets with mind, heart, and spirit transformed through their academic and military training in order to attain through discipline and sacrifice the diploma that they honorably deserve. Sanctify the life of these young men and women, O God, as they take the oath to protect the people and to secure the state. Direct and guide them as they accomplish their mission and mandate as military officers endowed with courage, integrity, and loyalty. When duty calls them to accomplish the mission as peacemakers and peacekeepers, direct them to remain steadfast, to follow the righteous path, and to abide with your sacred voice in their conscience, to respect human rights and to protect human life. But we believe and acknowledge, O God, that without your grace, human nature is bound to fail. Without your protection, we are exposed to the perils of this mortal existence. Without your guidance, we live our life without purpose and meaning. So in loving faith and confidence, we entrust these graduating cadets to your divine providence and protection. Shield them from the mortal threats of the enemy that destroy body and soul. Strengthen their will to resist temptation. Sustain them with your constant provision. Continue to bestow your blessing upon the Philippine Military Academy. Bless our honored guests, the loving parents, brothers and sisters, families and loved ones. Hear their silent prayers and reward their vicarious sacrifices. With sincerity, we implore your distinct benediction on President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, our Commander-in-Chief. Finally, may the God of life, the God of providence, the God of our history and destiny, bless, protect, and prosper our country, the Philippines, in peace. All this we humbly pray forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. We will now listen to the welcome remarks of the Superintendent, Philippine Military Academy, Lieutenant General Ronnie S. Evangelista, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Magandang umaga po sa atin lahat. Allow me to acknowledge some of our distinguished guests this morning. To start with, the President of the Philippines, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. I know, sir, that you have a very hectic schedule and a very punishing one. So maraming pong salamat at nakadalo kayo sa pambihirang okasyon na ito sa graduation ng PMA 2019, MABALASIK Class of 2019. Palakpakan po natin ang ating Presidente. We also have with us our Vice President Maria Leonor Herona Robredo. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming over. The Secretary of National Defense and his wife, Secretary Delpin Lorenzana, and Ma'am Edita, ma'am. Thank you very much. And with us is the Chief of Staff of the AAP, General Madrigal, sir. The different major service commanders, the Chief PNP, other secretaries present, the Foreign Defense Attaché present, the proud parents, the Ambassador of Spain, Ambassador Jorge. Thank you very much, sir, for coming over. So, ladies and gentlemen, members of the MABALASIK Class 2019, isa pong ulit na magandang umaga sa ating lahat. With pride and admiration, I welcome all of you to this hallowed ground of the Philippine Military Academy as we culminate our graduation week with the commencement of 261 members of PMA MABALASIK Class of 2019. MABALASIK means mandirigma ng bayan, lakas at sarili, iaalay para sa kapayapaan. The past 5 days were our final touches to the work of art that we now offer to the armed forces of the Philippines and to the Filipino people. 261 strong who will serve, defend, and contribute to a free and progressive republic. A work of art will not exist without the artist whose body, mind, and soul work, dreamt, and believe in their masterpiece. Thus, we cannot properly start this solemn rite without recognizing the groups, individuals, agencies, and organizations within and beyond PMA who in their thoughtful hands cared, motivated, and prayed for our cadets to reach this stage in their life. May I especially mention the great support of their families, loved ones, men and women of PMA, and all other unnamed individuals in the success story of our cadets. Thank you for being there for them. For more than 100 years, with 10,665 graduates, PMA constantly commits itself in delivering quality education and training to the future officers of the AAP who will defend the people and the state. The Academy continuously commit to do this with the next generation of cadets as it continues to produce intervention measures to be able to keep up with the changing times. Since I assumed as superintendent last October, we have been persistent to improve the quality of instruction and training, and we started it off with the revision of our curriculum to Bachelor of Science, major in National Security Management. And with the help of the major services, we were able to generate the needed amount to establish our e-library, an online database of digital collections such as books and other reference materials to be used by our faculty and cadets. Just this year too, we have upgraded the firing range with the addition of simulated moving automated random target system. And pretty soon, the Academy will be equipped with an Army Joint and Combined Arms Simulation Laboratory. Yesterday, we dedicated another historical milestone in the Academy, the new race hall, which will relieve the tight living quarters of our cadets. We can never thank enough the men and women behind all our efforts, most especially to our Commander-in-Chief, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Sir, maraming salamat sa pagbibigay halaga sa bawat kadete at sa bawat miyembro ng Sandatahang Lakas ng Pilipinas. While some of our initiatives will not be enjoyed anymore by the graduating class, be happy that you have been part of this special place, an institution and community that has made it a tradition to select, train, and develop young and aspiring individuals. It is therefore my hope and prayer that you will always carry in your hearts and in your minds, in deeds and in words, whether in triumph or defeat, and in peace and in war, the three inscriptions behind you: courage, integrity, loyalty. You are and should always be warriors of the people. Defend them by all means, and most importantly, live with honor. The Filipino people expect a lot from you. Do not fail them. Live up to the ideals of the Academy. Be a true PMAer. Congratulations and marami pong salamat sa ating lahat.
We shall now witness the presentation of the graduates by the head academic group, Brigadier General Cheston D. Valencerina, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Sir, may I present the 261 members of the graduating class of 2019. They have successfully completed all requirements of the course programs of PMA. Recommend that they be declared graduates and conferred upon them the degree of Bachelors of Science.
For having satisfactorily completed all the requirements of the course of study in the Philippine Military Academy, and upon the recommendation of the Academic Board, the PMA Superintendent will now declare the members of PMA MABALASIK Class 2019 graduates and confer upon them the Bachelor of Science degree.
By the authority vested in me as the Superintendent of the Philippine Military Academy, I hereby declare you, the members of MABALASIK Class of 2019, graduates, and confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science effective this date. Congratulations!
We shall now witness the distribution of diplomas and presentation of awards. The President of the Republic of the Philippines and the Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, will present the diplomas and the awards. The President will be assisted by the PMA Superintendent, Lieutenant General Ronnie S. Evangelista, Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Commandant of Cadets, Brigadier General Bartolome Vicente Obacaro, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the Head Academic Group, Brigadier General Cheston D. Valencerina, Armed Forces of the Philippines. We will call on the graduating class according to the military precedence list. The military president's list is determined by their overall performance in all the academic and tactics courses during their stay in the academy. Cadet First Class, Dion May Apolog Umalia, Alilem, Ilocos Sur. For graduating number 1 in the military president's list of class 2019, the Presidential Saber is awarded to Cadet First Class Dion May Apolog Umalia. The award is presented by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Republic of the Philippines. Likewise, Cadet First Class Umalia will also receive from the President a certificate of ownership of 1 unit, house, and lot. For being number 1 graduating cadet joining the Philippine Navy, the Philippine Navy Saber is awarded to Cadet Umalia. The award is presented by Vice Admiral Robert A. Empedrad, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Flag Officer in Command, Philippine Navy. For being Dean's List for 2 terms during the year and the Commandant's List for 3 terms during the year, the Distinguished Cadet Award, Starman, is awarded to Cadet First Class Umalia. The award is presented by Lieutenant General Ronnie S. Evangelista, Armed Forces of the Philippines. Cadet Umalia is also recipient of Academic Group Award, Humanities Plaque, Management Plaque, Social Sciences Plaque, Natural Sciences Plaque, Computing and Information Sciences Plaque, Leadership Award, JUSMAC Award, AGFO Award, Spanish Armed Forces Award, and Australian Defense Best Overall Performance Award for Navy. Cadet First Class, Jonathan S. Lau Mendoza, Sangli Point, Cavite City. For graduating number 2 in the Military President's List of Class 2019, the Vice Presidential Saber is awarded to Cadet First Class Jonathan S. Lau Mendoza. The award is presented by Vice President Maria Leonor Herona Robredo, Republic of the Philippines. For being the number 1 graduating cadet joining the Philippine Air Force, the Philippine Air Force Saber is awarded to Cadet Mendoza. The award is presented by Lieutenant General Rosano D. Brigues, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Commanding General, Philippine Air Force. Cadet Mendoza is also the recipient of Aguinaldo Saber, Australian Defense Best Overall Performance Award for Air Force. Cadet First Class, Joshel Gumapak Tandok, La Trinidad, Benguet. For graduating number 3 in the Military President's List of Class 2019, the Secretary of National Defense Saber is awarded to Cadet First Class Joshel Gumapak Tandok. The award is presented by Secretary Delphine N. Lorenzana, Department of National Defense. For being the number 1 graduating cadet joining the Philippine Army, the Philippine Army Saber is awarded to Cadet First Class Tandok. The award is presented by Lieutenant General Macairog S. Alberto, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Commanding General, Philippine Army. Likewise, Cadet First Class Tandok will also receive from Lieutenant General Alberto a 9mm Sig Sauer P226 with 15-round capacity, engraved with the Philippine Army seal. Cadet First Class Tandok is also the recipient of the following awards: Army Professional Courses Plaque, and Australian Defense Best Overall Performance Award for Army. Cadet First Class Daniel Hines Bognosen Lucas, Barlig Mountain Province. Cadet First Class Lucas is also the recipient of the Air Force Professional Courses Plaque. Cadet First Class Aldren Maambong Altamero, Kidapawan City, North Cotabato. Cadet First Class Altamero is also the recipient of the General Antonio Luna Award. Cadet First Class Richard Balabag Lonogan, Sagada Mountain Province. Cadet First Class Marnel Dinihay Fondales, Liganes, Iloilo. Cadet First Class Glyn Elinor Buansi Marapaw, Lengawan, Bugias, Benguet. Cadet First Class Marapaw is also the recipient of the Navy Professional Courses Plaque. Cadet First Class Ruth Angelique Ricardo Pasos, Pasig City. Cadet First Class Daryl James Halgalado Ligutan, Santa Mesa, Manila.
Cadet First Class Mark Ivan Pasha Henosa, Taguig City. Cadet First Class Michelle May Angak Patuaguan, Peña Blanca, Cagayan. Cadet First Class Nobleson Langato Libag, Bugyas, Benguet. Cadet First Class Sarah Jane Vargas Escobio, Pola, Oriental Mindoro. Cadet First Class Rolando Mendoza Jacinto, Taguig City. Cadet First Class Jessie Sala Zamora, Zamboanga City. Cadet First Class Kimberly Joyce Aliuan Bakuli, Tanudan, Kalinga. For being the #1 female graduating cadet in athletics and other sports-related activities, the Athletic Saber is awarded to Cadet First Class Bakuli. The awards presented by Mayor Mauricio Dumogan, Baguio City. She is also the recipient of the Tactics Group Award and the Sports and Physical Development Plaque. Cadet First Class Jeremy Baguling del Rosario, Baguio City. Cadet First Class Kathleen Rose Sareno Eya, Tacurong City. Cadet First Class Emmanuel Maravilla Carmen, Surala, South Cotabato. He is also the recipient of the Mathematics Plaque.
Cadet First Class Sariel Matunog Cabardo, Sogod, Southern Leyte. Cadet First Class Denise Easter Pitarge Adobo, Rawis, Hinabangan, Samar. Cadet First Class Kenny Dagoy Dacuba, Zamboanga City. Cadet First Class Flordeli Villarosa Claro, Sarangani Province. Cadet First Class Clinton Talyog Dumatog, Lubwagan, Kalinga. Cadet First Class Jeffrey John Alangsab Heyo, Baguio City. Cadet First Class Karen Lay Kailer Kunanan, Baler, Aurora. Cadet First Class John Randolph Hermija Abayari, Tarlac City. Cadet First Class John Liden Halyazgo Tubumbanwa Jr., Cebu City. Cadet First Class Claude James Camaso Vender, Maramag, Bukidnon.
Cadet First Class Dominic Kimco Tombo, Davao City. Cadet First Class Rhea Don Ampolokyo Granada, Dagohoy, Bohol. Cadet First Class Harold Cordova Kinagoran, Igig, Cagayan. Cadet First Class Christine Lingatong Taro, Tubod, Surigao del Norte. Cadet First Class Elmer Saura Denzel Jr., mga Tarem, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class Abigail Pepito Aribal, Mitsayap, North Cotabato. Cadet First Class Julian Federico Bico Salvador, Iloilo City. Cadet First Class Reynaldo Liban Angad, Tabuk City. Cadet First Class Thea Dizon Rafal, General Santos City. Cadet First Class Alframe Shane Sundulan Gomez, Cagayan de Oro City.
Cadet First Class Don Hope Alburo Bantilio, Milagros, Masbate. Cadet First Class Ryan Garcia Lingayo, Natonin, Mountain Province. Cadet First Class April Rica Jefervez Laput, Matanao, Davao del Sur. Cadet First Class Stacy K. Yares Villanueva, Digos City. Cadet First Class Nero Oscar Cabugao Colaton, La Trinidad, Benguet. Cadet First Class John Andrew Cabotaje Manuel, Lingayen, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class Joshua Gadowan Galong, Baguio City. Cadet First Class Mariel Mantuano Bagul-Bagul, Lipa City. Cadet First Class Stephanie Furia Fashol, Butuan City.
Cadet First Class Rodolfo Camagay Banastas, Tumawini, Isabela. Cadet First Class Eunice Daging Lataan, Tinglayan, Kalinga. Cadet First Class Ramil Christian Alipio Villanueva, Bacolod City. Cadet First Class Ralph Angelo Isidro Casim, Pasig City. Cadet First Class Fidel Vivares Castro Jr., Mangatarem, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class Mark Jerist Avendaño Ganancial, Quezon City. Cadet First Class Vincent Ruben Medillo Sestoso, Cebu City. Cadet First Class Jeanette Recinto Fernandez, Lipa City. Cadet First Class Kent Jasper Juan Soriano, Baguio City. Cadet First Class Grezalyn Ibat Katbagan, Lupao, Nueva Ecija.
Cadet First Class Kim Arnor Acido Sapuay, Tarlac City. Cadet First Class Joffrey Ortega Valdez, Davao City. Cadet First Class Valdez is also the recipient of the Journalism Award. Cadet First Class Ralph Angelo Buiza Magallanes, Tabaco City, Albay. Cadet First Class Eileen Patricia Prado O, Aguilar, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class John Stephen Livado Partido, Herona, Tarlac. Cadet First Class Neil Jesse Rosario Licubin, Aguilar, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class Francois Noeli Castillo Cagasan, Ragay, Camarines Sur. Cadet First Class Alvin Bautista Mendones, San Jacinto, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class Victor Manigo Umaño, Duhali, Davao del Norte. Cadet First Class Clark Brian Gingging Pulizon, Tagbina, Surigao del Sur.
Cadet First Class Jasril Alvendia Kalimag, Quezon City. For having exemplified leadership excellence as the Cadet First Captain and the Brigade Commander of the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Chief of Staff Award is conferred to Cadet First Class Kalimag. The award is presented by General Benjamin R. Madrigal Jr., Armed Forces of the Philippines. Cadet First Class Jane Tan Velasco, Badyangan, Iloilo. Cadet First Class Manuel Paulo Bacud Elumba, General Santos City. Cadet First Class Kyle Broderick Castro Santos, Imus City. Cadet First Class Darwin Spike Mendoza Remo, Santa Cruz, Manila. Cadet First Class Robert Aiden Kiambao Aguilar, Lawag City. Cadet First Class Gabriela Micaela Verano Gan, Mariveles, Bataan. Cadet First Class Ivan Daryl Loho San Jose, Taguig City. Cadet First Class Jefferson Nepal Borde, Alcala, Cagayan. Cadet First Class Roseanne May Ursal Cordova, Tacloban City.
Cadet First Class Alan Paul Manyo Mendoza, Florida Blanca, Pampanga. Cadet First Class Jeremiah Eder Agaid, Tabuk City. Cadet First Class Gerson Pulak Balagot, La Trinidad, Benguet. Cadet First Class Desiree Crina Gampoy Doria, Pura, Tarlac. Cadet First Class Joebel Reyes Quinisio, Balete, Aklan. Cadet First Class Gedeon Ibrahim Priniel Diamos, Lapu-Lapu City. Cadet First Class Judy Lee Ann Cabaylo Bugante, Iloilo City. Cadet First Class Don Macoorsal Preza, Baguio City. Cadet First Class Maria Carissa Joy Baldugo Liban, Santa Maria, Isabela. Cadet First Class Towner Martinez Caltino, La Trinidad, Benguet.
Cadet First Class Maria Elena Calderon Dacumos, Baguio City. Cadet First Class Mark Richard Gelasio Sugitan, San Mariano, Isabela. Cadet First Class Edric Alico Balanon, San Fernando City, La Union. Cadet First Class Benjamin Contapay Gavertan Jr., Enrile, Cagayan. Cadet First Class Tricia Buraga Pascual, Cabagan, Isabela. Cadet First Class Grazel Ann Tayer Acob, Bacoor City. Cadet First Class Marvin Arguelles Incha, Taguig City. Cadet First Class Donna May Suryaga Monsale, La Carlota City, Negros Occidental. Cadet First Class, Jezzy Sanchez Rivera, Butuan City. Cadet First Class, Gerald Roy Kililan Giling, Makati City.
Cadet First Class, Jessie Orven Opia Tumambing, Cuenca, Batangas. Cadet First Class, Maria Angelica Ramos Ebuen, Taguig City. Cadet First Class, Jessica Shem Likayan Kiling, Cabuyao, Laguna. Cadet First Class, Victor Malingan Kitong Jr., Taguig City. Cadet First Class, Mark Fritz Jason Yero Garcia, Baguio City. Cadet First Class, Jake Odiada Variacion, Iligan City. Cadet First Class, N. Gilbert Manalo Agbing, Mataas na Kahoy, Batangas. Cadet First Class, Gladys May Dian Eda, Santo Tomas, Isabela. Cadet First Class, Christy Bongkawil Timtim, La Libertad, Negros Oriental. Cadet First Class, Marlon Du Ditan Jr., Masbate City.
Cadet First Class, Yunes Lamesa Baguio, Bonifacio Misamis Occidental. Cadet First Class, Jezreel Chinyuna Guillermo, Tabuk City. Cadet First Class, Raymond Malilin Kasibang, Tuguegarao City. Cadet First Class, Elvin Polintan Calupe, Cavite City. Cadet First Class, James Benedict Galang Barangco, Baguio City. Cadet First Class, Ruben John Lizano Soledad, Taguig City. Cadet First Class, Ray Balante Dulnuan, Baguio City. Cadet First Class, Tristan Ray Lim Noval, Malaybalay City. Cadet First Class, Jeffrey Amoncio Homaya, Davao City. Cadet First Class, Francis Ivan Garavillas Di Materia, Lipa City.
Cadet First Class, Analiza Soriano Tagakay, Lipa City. Cadet First Class, Nino Francis Claire Bacolina Siso, Dumingag, Zamboanga del Sur. Cadet First Class, Reina Angelica Azosano Loayon, Makati City. Cadet First Class, Reina Ros Temikpao Bantayan, Cayapa, Nueva Vizcaya. Cadet First Class, Marvin Valera Kahandab, Lavezares, Northern Samar. Cadet First Class, Rolando De Leon Jacinto Jr., Kawayan City, Isabela. Cadet First Class, Aaron Nathaniel Clarisha Torres, Lipa City. Cadet First Class, Jocely Sarmiento Gloriani, Bailen, Cavite. Cadet First Class, Jeric Soriano Pagia, Buog, Zamboanga, Sibugay. Cadet First Class, Jomar Hermita, Ipil, Zamboanga, Sibugay.
Cadet First Class Aldrich Mayan Garridos Labastida, General Santos City. Cadet First Class Darwin Suhayon Datwin, General Santos City. Cadet First Class Joseph Conrad Canon Centeno, Taguig City. Cadet First Class Gia Maganon Bumangol, Tabuk City. Cadet First Class Mary Liza Joy de la Cruz de Guzman, Haen, Nueva Ecija. Cadet First Class Reynel Jacob Abramonte Sumagaysay, Lambunaw, Iloilo. Cadet First Class Christian Carl De Llosa Galicia, Minglanilla, Cebu. Cadet First Class Ridgely Montebon Olongayo, Pagadian City. Cadet First Class Wilson Peralta Flores, Mabini, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class Kenneth John Bomedjano Kayanga, Cagayan de Oro City.
Cadet First Class Albert John Castro Pagapang, Bagos City, Negros Occidental. Cadet First Class Clark Jefferson Dacusin Madarang, Solano, Nueva Vizcaya. Cadet First Class Philip John Miraflor Reliosa, Pasay City. Cadet First Class Mar Kyle Bruce Casinillo, Cebu City. Cadet First Class Jean Paul Kalimag Karangyan, Enrile, Cagayan. Cadet First Class Ken Paul Anton Deyanyo Hagmok, Linamon, Lanao del Norte. Cadet First Class Isabel Mas Prudencio, Quezon City. Cadet First Class Jean Peter Paul Lacal Gaking, Mlang, North Cotabato. Cadet First Class Jaxel Yadok de Duque, Baguio City. Cadet First Class Jerome Dacumos, Florida, Caloocan City.
Cadet First Class Jerwin Asuncion Cambagay, Muñoz, Nueva Ecija. Cadet First Class Sonny Boy Kawile Arenas, Labrador, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class Siru Ached Chaur, Tokukan Mountain Province. Cadet First Class Kirk Henry Absin Ferranco, Tanza, Cavite. Cadet First Class Kenneth Campos Castillo, Baguio City. Cadet First Class Oliver Bermudez Abulencia Jr., Baguio City. Cadet First Class Rochelle Soniga Abon, Bagabag, Nueva Vizcaya. Cadet First Class Blesi May Exija Ortego, Catarman, Northern Samar. Cadet First Class Daisy Jane Domingo Constantino, Las Piñas City. Cadet First Class Rodolfo Agustin Tumbaga Jr., Valenzuela City.
Cadet First Class Sharon Bagiton Dumaging, Tanudan, Kalinga. Cadet First Class Bonnie Pearl Otaza Feril, Polomolok, South Cotabato. Cadet First Class Eileen Marie Hamandron Loria, Binangonan, Rizal. Cadet First Class, Virgil Philip Magno Romuga, Davao City. Cadet First Class, Alberto Pelicano Lasabia, Catbalogan City. Cadet First Class, Charlene May Ramirez Resede, Lipa City. Cadet First Class, Neil Francis Estoque Ventura, Baguio City. Cadet First Class, Iris Tabor Rosalita, Bato, Catanduanes. Cadet First Class, Michael Javier Regalario, Pantabangan, Nueva Ecija. Cadet First Class, Jovan Logares Ampuan, Manabos City, Davao del Norte.
Cadet First Class, Calvin John Jimenez Claunan, Tarlac City. Cadet First Class, Tom Deliuz Fermin Langawan, Baguio City. Cadet First Class, Catherine Lois Navio Hunsay, Lipa City. Cadet First Class, Neil Christian Bayug Cureg, Santa Maria, Isabela. Cadet First Class, Robbie Labrador Bacolod, Ginghulngan, Negros Oriental. Cadet First Class, Karina Joy Balancio Buado, San Fernando City, La Union. Cadet First Class, Kurt Tristan Dalos Paren, Baguio City. Cadet First Class, Randolph Aninion Ramirez, Dumaguete City. Cadet First Class, Princess Deserijan Bacunyata Dominguez, Rodriguez, Rizal. Cadet First Class, Buen Jofet Basarte Tunyakaw, Pasay City.
Cadet First Class, Darwin Hapitana Dalus, Cabanatuan City. Cadet First Class, Arafat Sanggakala Dibangkitun, Iligan City. Cadet First Class, Mike Mariel Anon Tugawen, Luna Apayao. Cadet First Class, Levin Hayes Cruz Legaspi, Taytay, Rizal. Cadet First Class, Dan Carlo Palumaria Amok, Dos, Maguindanao. Cadet First Class, Chester Anthony Peñeda, Alang-Alang, Leyte. Cadet First Class, Jamel Ramos Sagun, Solana, Cagayan. Cadet First Class, Jairus John Otilia Mateo, Taguig City. Cadet First Class, Tiffany Joy Obiña Bago, Solana, Cagayan. Cadet First Class, John Michael Tolin Recientes, Rodriguez, Rizal.
Cadet First Class, Nicolas Crisanto Ragine Guisaico, Naga City. For being the #1 male graduating cadet in athletics and other sports-related activities among the male cadets, the athletic saber is awarded to Cadet First Class Guisaico. The award is presented by Mayor Mauricio Dumogan, Baguio City. Cadet First Class, Michael Vincent Gerardo Loyao, Baguio City. Cadet First Class, Mark John Jeric Austria Adel, San Pascual, Batangas. Cadet First Class, Neil John Barcelona Evangelista, Sebastian Antique. Cadet First Class, Paulo Miguel Tapia Salcedo, Katbalogan, Samar. Cadet First Class, Clifford John De Leon Manawis, Labrador, Pangasinan. He is also the recipient of the Department of Tactical Officers Plaque. Cadet First Class, Lovely Caperida Carolasan, Liloy, Zamboanga del Norte. Cadet First Class, John Paul Buenaventura Manondo, Maria Aurora. Cadet First Class, Ivy Ramos Duran, San Leonardo, Nueva Ecija. Cadet First Class, Mark Jonathan Dawal Asaytuno, Maanito Albay.
Cadet First Class, Brian Arnold Trinidad Berinya, Pili Camarines Sur. Cadet First Class, Leopoldo Rebolido Pascua II, Sual, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class, Joven Binalo Tercio Jr., Marawi City. Cadet First Class, Jose Miguel Amad Abellanosa, Cebu City. Cadet First Class, Napoleon Apigo Tenay Jr., Bambang, Nueva Vizcaya. Cadet First Class, Chester Sarmiento Gutierrez, San Antonio, Quezon. Cadet First Class, Aljun Perez Busiños, Tantangan, South Cotabato. Cadet First Class, James Carlo Di Mailig Buong Galing, Bawan, Batangas. Cadet First Class, Bernard Bajo Cudal, Tanza, Cavite. Cadet First Class, Carlo Jill Minor Gomez, Aliaga, Nueva Ecija.
Cadet First Class, Mike Guerrero Lara, Libungan, North Cotabato. Cadet First Class, John Beethoven Castillo Malana, Santa Maria, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class, Richard Adorable Mangabo, Lipa City. Cadet First Class, Kenneth Liwayan Yang, Hingyon, Ifugao. Cadet First Class, Aldrich Muena Carpio, San Antonio, Nueva Ecija. Cadet First Class, Jerome Nonong Makasaet Espiritu, Lipa City. Cadet First Class, JV Baronia Lagasca, Taguig City. Cadet First Class, Dexter Tadihe Tukrang, Kabugao, Apayao. Cadet First Class, Christian Jason Catalan Amparado, Tukuran, Zamboanga del Sur. Cadet First Class, John Brian Terosa Bilagantol, Cagayan de Oro City.
Cadet First Class, Rolf Rodney Pinzol Lebrilia, Bayahuan City. Cadet First Class, Erickson Alvarez Cabingas, Cabanatuan City. Cadet First Class, Angelbert John Dantic Anyar, Puerto Princesa City. Cadet First Class, Hans Herones Roa, Baungon, Bukidnon. Cadet First Class, Riza Jadin Lovendino Caratao, Legazpi City. Cadet First Class, Angel Grace Macapagal Sebelina, Pura Tarlac. Cadet First Class, Cyril Ken Tombok Ranho, RT Lim Zamboanga Sibugay. Cadet First Class, Kyle Christian Mendanya Calano, Padre Garcia, Batangas. Cadet First Class, Rian Carlo Amora Moran, Davao City. Cadet First Class, Mark Abeson Toledano Barcelon, San Mateo Rizal.
Cadet First Class, Vico de la Cruz Magbanwa, Davao City. Cadet First Class, Desiree Rabago Bueno, Malungon, Sarangani Province. Cadet First Class, Jed Robinson Melina Bagnol, Tandag, Surigao del Sur. Cadet First Class, Henry Crisostomo Chongson Rafael, Herona, Tarlac. Cadet First Class, Kate Cabar Oresco, Cabatuan, Iloilo. Cadet First Class, Stephen William Vier Castillo, Tigaon, Camarines Sur. Cadet First Class, Heherson Nicolas Bides, Pagbilao, Quezon. Cadet First Class, Rainiel Cordova Magalso, Prosperidad, Agusan del Sur. Cadet First Class, Glenn Panisan Anudon, Difun, Quirino. Cadet First Class, Jose Crisanto Bandola Cahayon, Bonot, Legazpi City.
Cadet First Class, Darren De Rojas Santos, Taal, Batangas. Cadet First Class, Drexler Alfredo Mayomis, La Trinidad, Benguet. Cadet First Class, Al Spencer Teorima Garnica, Isabela, Negros Occidental. Cadet First Class, Jeff Edison Belver Manangan, Rosales, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class, Vernil Icon Mira Bunco, Iligan City. Cadet First Class, John Mark Cataylo Ganancial, Hinobaan, Negros Occidental. Cadet First Class, Lesh Corpuz Pujeda, Infanta, Quezon. Cadet First Class, Angelo Jan Villasunido, Muñoz, Nueva Ecija. Cadet First Class, Tanya Erica Cabanizas Pantalunan, Tarlac City. Cadet First Class, Rafael Angelo Cuja Ong, Marilao, Bulacan.
Cadet First Class, Maverick Hasmin Sakay, General Santos City. Cadet First Class, Carl Brian Fernandez Maron, Binmaloy, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class, Jim Salvo Salviejo, Tuba, Benguet. Cadet First Class, Ralph Andrew Rigonan Villa, Quezon City. Cadet First Class, Christian Remar Hoson Chong, Virac, Catanduanes. Cadet First Class, Mark Louis Galpo Sanchez, San Jose del Monte, Bulacan. Cadet First Class, Percival Walat Gangan, Ilagan City, Isabela. Cadet First Class Eddie Chinyuna Guillermo Jr., Tabuk City. Cadet First Class Jerwin Labagen Esteban, Mayantok, Tarlac. Cadet First Class John Michael Lamonte Labiga, Taguig City. And Cadet First Class Denmark Kitlong Solomon, Bugalyon, Pangasinan. The President The President will award a caliber 45 pistol to Cadet First Class Denmark Kitlong Solomon.
We will now hear the valedictory address of Cadet First Class Dion May Apolog Umalia, Cadet Corps, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Our President and Commander-in-Chief, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, sir. Vice President, Maria Leonor Herona Robredo, ma'am. Secretary, Delphine N. Lorenzana. General Benjamin Madrigal. Sir. Lieutenant General Ronnie S. Evangelista, Armed Forces of the Philippines. Major Service Commanders, members of the Diplomat Corps, other distinguished guests, Team PMA, our beloved parents, families, my fellow graduates, the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines, and to the Filipino people, a pleasant morning to all. In Proverbs chapter 19, verse 21, it says, "Many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will be established." This biblical passage has consistently been true to me since my youthful days, when all I wanted was to become a doctor when I grew up. I remember in grade school when I happily shared this to the whole class. But that dream never happened. When I finished high school, I was left with two choices: a Bachelor of Science in Medical Technology with 1 year free tuition, which was what I really wanted to pursue as a pre-medical course. The other was a Bachelor of Secondary Education with a 4-year free tuition, free board and lodging, and free travel expenses. I was trapped in a dilemma between my dream and the reality. The reality that my mother, a retired teacher who single-handedly raised us, might not be able to sustain my needs if I pursue my dreams of being a doctor. And so, with a heavy heart, I let go of my dream and pursue education instead. Clearly, it was not the one I wanted. Pero para mapagaan ang loob ko, sabi ko na lang sa sarili ko, magdo-doktor pa rin naman ako, PhD na at hindi na MD. As time passed by, I began to love the course and its promise of being part of the noblest profession. My sadness soon vanished when I met new friends and instructors who are really good at heart. 2 years into the course, an unexpected opportunity came knocking at my door. My mother and my brothers chanced upon the PMA entrance exam, and they handed me what was then my ticket to these hallowed grounds. I initially hesitated because of the newfound love I have for teaching. But then, I loved my mother more than anything else, and it was very difficult for me to say no. And so, I gave it a try. Pumasa ako, and my mother persisted on my cadetship. She said, "Padasam lata anak, awan mo't mapukaw kanyam." Which translates to, "Just try, dear. You have nothing to lose." I was so frustrated because nothing seems to come my way. Nothing seems to go as planned. But I prayed earnestly to God. "Lord, ano nga ba talaga ang gusto niyo para sa akin? Ano ang dapat kong gawin? Can you give me something that would guide me kung ano ang pipiliin ko?" And my mother prevailed. Soon after, my dream of becoming a teacher ended. I may have totally gone astray from my dreams of becoming a doctor and from my passion to become a teacher. But I am not alone. Many of my mista, and perhaps many more of my underclass were just like me, who were pushed and lured into entering the academy, into joining this profession. But have we really failed in our dreams? My 4 years of stay here in PMA tells me otherwise. To say that we have the hardest training, which is capable of breaking even the most indomitable of spirits, is an understatement. But despite this, the Academy is a dream maker. She turns our aspirations to reality. Perhaps not exactly the way we have wanted it. Them all here. I may not become a doctor, but the Academy made me one, when many times I was called to ease the pain of my fellow cadets who, just like me, were going through tough times in their cadetship. I became a full-fledged teacher when I mentored my fellow cadets who were having difficulties in their academic subjects. My fellow cadets and I played a bit of a dozen other professions. At one point or another, a priest when we shared the gospel to troubled cadets, a lawyer when we were asked to defend a cadet in his trials for an alleged violation committed, a lawmaker when we proposed measures to better the administration of the Corps, and many others. More importantly, we became not what we wanted, but what we needed to be, to serve our country and the Filipino people. Inside the academy, we experienced having sleepless nights, having nothing to eat, swallowing our pride, being lowly servants, and following orders. But each day, we learned to cherish every blessing that was given to us. We learned to be grateful, especially for the things that allowed us to survive our daily grinds. We learned to cherish our purpose. Most importantly, with countless of challenges and failures, we learned to lean on God. Mornings after mornings spent in this regimented life. Time flies fast indeed. It felt like it only happened yesterday, but it has been 4 years since we first stepped on the grounds of the Borromeo Field. For most of us, we entered the academy with nothing more than a dream. And today, here we are again, on the same ground where everything started. This time, not to chase our dreams, but to receive our reality. Our reality that we have made it. I then take this opportune time to thank the many people who have helped us in this journey. To our President and Commander-in-Chief, daghang salamat, sir, sa patuloy na suporta sa Armed Forces of the Philippines. To the men and women of Team PMA, thank you for honing us. To our tactical officers, who most of the time played the role of villains, thank you for the many valuable life lessons and for showing us that there are still much more to learn. To our dearest instructors, no words can express how grateful we are to all of you. Thank you for believing in our strengths and capabilities that allowed us to go out of our comfort zones. To our beloved parents, foster parents, and families, you are the true foundations of who we are. It is only right to share with you every honor we received today. You have consistently supported and inspired us to continue our battle despite all the adversities in life. On a personal note, I would like to thank Mama. Ma, dado yan. Naimbag langit dito napilit ka. Naimbag langit dito nagtalo ka kanyam. Agaman na kanyam. I love you so much, Ma. This is all for you. Also, I would like to thank my father for attending my graduation today. Thank you, Pa. Sa mga kapatid ko na lagi ko pong maaasahan, Kuya Benji, Kuya Junjun, Kuya Filmar. They provided me with both brotherly and fatherly love, which I have never experienced growing up. To my foster parents, thank you so much. I have felt in you that family is not only by blood, but also by the bond we share together. To our squad leaders, sirs, moms, we will always be grateful to you for the lessons that enabled us to survive PMA. Maraming salamat sa pagbabahagi nyo ng inyong mga sarili sa amin. Sa mga manongs, marami pong salamat. Kayo po ang isa sa naging takbuhan namin sa oras ng pangangailangan. Lalo na sa panahong kumakalam ang aming mga sikmura. To our underclassmen, our squad mates, buddies, neighbors, thank you for sharing with us wonderful experiences. With you, we have realized what it means to be a leader, a mentor, a friend, an enemy, a brother, and a sister. We know that we were far from being perfect. At times, we failed to do our job. But we hope one way or another, we have touched your lives. Take care of the core. Never stop dreaming, for there are still a lot more to learn. To my mista, my brothers and sisters from another mother, let us all together thank the Lord for giving us this opportunity to color our journey with laughter, pains, joys, and conflicts. Time has come and gone quickly, but it will forever be a blessing that we have shared the most memorable moments of our lives together. And to our Almighty God, thank you, and to you be all the glory. We may not know what the future holds, but with you, we know that we are secured. While I may not have achieved my dreams of becoming a doctor and a teacher, I realized today that when I was young and dreaming to become my dreams, I only wanted one thing: to serve our country and people in those professions at all costs and in all circumstances. I have achieved that dream today. We all have. And so I say, handa na po kami. Patuloy kaming mangangarap para sa bayan. Patuloy kaming mangangarap para sa kapwa naming Pilipino. Maraming salamat at mabuhay ang PMA MABALASIK Class 2019.
The Secretary of the Department of National Defense, Secretary Delphine N. Lorenzana, will now declare the commission of the 261 members of the PMA MABALASIK Class of 2019.
Declaration of Commission. Pursuant to Section 31 of the National Defense Act as amended, you are hereby commissioned second lieutenants or ensigns in the regular force armed forces of the Philippines. Congratulations.
We shall now witness the oath-taking of our newly commissioned officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Benjamin R. Madrigal Jr., Armed Forces of the Philippines, will administer the oath.
Mangyaring itaas ang inyong kanang kamay at sumunod sa aking bibigkasin. Ako si, sabihin ang inyong pangalan.
Ako si Marnel Tinihan Sundales.
Nang sabihin ang inyong tirahan. Na itinalaga sa katungkulan bilang. Sabihin ang inyong katungkulan. Ay taimtim na nanunumpa. Natutuparin kong buong husay at katapatan. Sa abot ng aking kakayahan. Ang mga tungkulin ng aking kasalukuyang katungkulan. At ng iba pang pagkaraan nito'y. Gagampanan ko sa ilalim ng Republika ng Pilipinas. Na aking itataguyod at ipagtatanggol. Ang saligang batas ng Republika ng Pilipinas. Na ako'y tunay na mananalig at tatalima dito. Nasusundin ko ang mga batas, mga utos na ayon sa batas, at mga dekreto na pinaiiral, na mga sadyang itinakdang may kapangyarihan, ng Republika ng Pilipinas. At kusa kong babalikatin ang mga pananagutang ito na walang anumang pasubali o hangaring umiwas. Kasihan nawa ako ng Diyos. Ibaba ang inyong kamay. Malugod na binabati ko kayong lahat.
The members of the PMA Class of 2019, after having been declared graduates of the Philippine Military Academy, are now alumni of this revered institution. They shall now take their oath of membership to the PMA Alumni Association Incorporated. To administer the oath is the chairman of the Philippine Military Academy Alumni Association Incorporated, Cavalier Rufo A. De Vera.
Members of PMA MABALASIK Class of 2019, Please raise your right hand and follow after me. I state your name. Having been accepted as a regular member of the Philippine Military Academy Alumni Association Incorporated, do hereby solemnly swear that I will abide by its constitution and bylaws, that I will support and uphold its code of ethics, that I will obey the rules and regulations promulgated by its board of directors, that I will always observe the PMA's motto of courage, integrity, and loyalty, and that I will impose these obligations upon myself voluntarily, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Bring down your arms. Let us congratulate our new cavaliers.
The Secretary of National Defense, Secretary Delphine N. Lorenzana, will now introduce our guest of honor and commencement speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Kindly sit down. Commander, could you give the tikas pahinga for the troops?
Tikos! No! Mga pinuno, tikos. No!
Okay. Vice President Maria Leonor Leni Robredo. Ma'am. Bakit doon ma'am nag-smile ka sa akin ngayon? Hindi na. Ikaw ha? The National Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana and the other members of the Cabinet, AFP Chief of Staff General Benjamin Madrigal, and the Major Service Commanders, PMA Superintendent Lieutenant General Ronnie Evangelista, Police General Oscar Albayalde, Mayor Mausilio Dumugan, and other local government officials, faculties, and members, and staff of the Philippines led by the MABALASIK graduating class of 2029. Other distinguished guests, mga mahal kong Pilipino, it is an honor for me to stand before you, the Philippine Military Academy, MABALASIK class of 2019, as you celebrate the successful culmination of your training in this esteemed academy. As you march today with pride, remember that thousands of other individuals dared to join your ranks, and take part in the journey towards the noble profession of arms. In the end, only 261 out of the 350 cadets have emerged triumphant. This special day marks the beginning of a lifelong path that you will take as military officers. This is only start of an even bigger challenge as you enter your chosen branch of service and assume leadership roles in our armed forces. As your Commander-in-Chief, I lay down these vital points that I may ask you to instill within you yourselves as junior political officers of the AAP. Be humble. Nothing beats humility. Always remember that the rank, authority, and trust of your subordinates and the people that you serve are born out of respect for the office that you carry. Be teachable in all definitions of disciplines and endeavors. The way to success requires order and discipline. Next, always be grateful. Honor your seniors, your officers, your professors, the enlisted personnel, and other civilians who have taught you, prayed for you, and believed in you. Lastly, always have each other's backs. In the field, nobody wins alone. Where many old mindsets are fading fast, the new ones are coming from the unprecedented sources. Our security is not anymore just about arms and equipment. It is time, complex, and irrational state, and non-state actors may even pose danger to our country. Given this reality, I ask you to always remain faithful to your mission. Be a good soldier who will serve the Constitution, protect the people, secure our sovereignty, and preserve the integrity of our national territory. I urge you always, embody courage and loyalty as you pursue your noble careers in the military. Let these values be your beacon until your last stop are sung and your perpetual memory would be to see your country truly free. As you leave the halls of these great and noble institutions, that is the Philippine Military Academy, may you, your young, idealistic graduates, strengthen your dedication and lasting peace that will be enjoyed by the future generations. With you behind me, I am confident that we can build the foundations of a better, safer, and more peaceful life for all Filipinos. Maraming salamat po. This is just a letter, a correspondence, but with it also is the warning that, a military man wears the uniform constrictively and even paggalaw ninyo. Pero yung nagkasala ngayon, I would like to read something for you. When I'm no longer the president, all of those meron kayo sa akin taon-taon. Believe ako sa inyo. Ikaw pati ako pareha ang swerte sa buhay. 75. Marami tayo. Hanging. And I therefore say, I, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines. Ano ba ang kasalanan ninyo? Okay lang. Makasalanan ninyo, okay lang. Hereby pardon all outstanding punishments for the underclassmen 2CL, 3CL, and 4CL of the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines, as recommended by the Superintendent PMA, effective today. Granted this 26th day of May, in the year of the Lord 2019, at PMA, 4th General Gregorio del Pilar, Barangay Baguio City. Pirmahan ko na. God. Sino nakasala? Taas kamay. Hindi ako papirma nito. You have to be, show to me your face. Who are to be pardoned? Para ring pulis, ha? Natuton na kayo sa pulis, ayaw mag-admita. Well, anyway, I'll pass you this time because I need good and capable soldiers. And I know that one or two is bound to happen. Pero patawarin ko kayo. Isong it... The number one is for rape. Putang ina. Ang number two is drugs with rape, with robbery. Para sa munting lupa to. Pangatlo, multiple rape of the women of Baguio, the beautiful one. Sino yan? Huwag mo angkon. Okay? Better luck next time. You are all pardoned. Congratulations. Serve your country well. Die for your country if needs be. Remember the young Filipinos yet to come, the children and those who are now studying. Huwag mong kalimutan ninyo yan. And if you think that the country is not run the way it is, and if it will destroy your country, you should know what to do. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. Good.
No!
At this juncture, Lieutenant General Ronnie S. Evangelista, Armed Forces of the Philippines Superintendent, Philippine Military Academy, will present a memento to our guest of honor and speaker. The P Mayor symbolizes the meaningful transformation of PMA cadets from a lowly plebe to an immaculate first class, presented to President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Republic of the Philippines, and the Commander-in-Chief Armed Forces of the Philippines during the commencement exercises of PMA MABALASIK Class 2019, presented by the officers, men and women of the Philippine Military Academy and the Cadet Corps, Armed Forces of the Philippines. Thank you. You may now please be seated.
At this juncture, the graduating cadets will form the long gray line.
Mabalasik, mandirigma ng bayan, lakas at sarili iaalay para sa kapayapaan. This is their class name. It is what they stand for. They are the race of fearless warriors emanated from all corners of the land. To heed to their calling to become the leaders our country needs. Standing by their firm principles, guided by the values of their alma mater, and united by their purpose to defend their motherland from all threats, in order to give future generations a better world to live in, free of doubt and fear. By adversities and difficulties, they remain steadfast through cooperation, confidence, and determination. With the blessings of the Almighty God, they continue to improve and maintain brilliance that is levied to servant leaders of selfless service to God and country. Upholding the roadmap of the Academy, they remain motivated to continually aim to be unsurpassed, remembered for their light of their accomplishments and excellence. They are indeed the race of fearless warriors, the MABALASIK Class of 2019. For the years to come, their class will be part of the heritage of this gallant institution that has made excellence as a way of life. The virtues of courage, integrity, and loyalty have strongly been formed to become an essential part of their kind. This is their contribution to the sovereignty of our state and liberty of the Filipino people. They are the living legacy of what is known as the noble protectors of the land. Ladies and gentlemen, forming the long gray line, the PMA MABALASIK Class of 2019.
May we request everyone to stand for the singing of the Philippine Military Academy Alma Mater song.
Proud and bold you stand, bright beacon of the land. Let loyal sons proclaim thy glorious name. our country free. Only to righteous way, those solid ranks of grace, thy virtues to display. Academy, oh hail to thee.
Thank you. You may now be seated.
3 cheers for those who will be leaving us behind. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Let us give 3 cheers for those who will be left behind. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Mga pinuno, ang tabay bunot. Kalis! Ba! Mga pinuno, pasulong. Kad! Mga pinuno. To! Mga pinuno, sumalikod ko. Kad! Pa! Samasid!
The brigade commander orders the corps to pass in review.
Ladies and gentlemen, passing in review before you is the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines, led by the Brigade Commander, Cadet First Captain Ram Michael Navarro, CCAFP from Muntinlupa City with his staff, Limel Reyes from Batangas, Shara Bernardo from Camarines Sur, Marion Cordova from Laguna, Renz Ramos from Digos City, Armando Custodio Jr. from Quezon City, Lester Julaket from Cagayan, and Resti Costales from Cagayan. The Philippine Military Academy Band, under the baton of Petty Officer 3rd Class Benji Tolentino, Philippine Navy. 1st Battalion Commander, John Carlos Samarita from Antipolo City with his staff, Trexie Janiel Hopita from Iloilo, J. Lord Bangisan from Abra, Gerbert Atienza from Batangas, Benjo Ordoño from Baguio City, and Eric Regaspi from Camarines Sur. Alpha Company Commander, Cathy Rose Vilbar from Coronadal City with her staff, Vanilin Angel Tabao from Tuguegarao City, Melchizedek Catalo from Negros Oriental, and Raymart Kalimag from Tuguegarao City. 1st Platoon Leader, Alson Balanay from Pasig City. 2nd Platoon Leader, Greg Montabon from Samar with the company 1st Sergeant, Alfred Sbrigora from Misamis. Bravo Company Commander, Katabay Lachong from Kalinga with his staff. Dominic Castro from Bayugan City, Paul Ebil from Baguio City, and Axel Sanupao from Zamboanga. 1st Platoon Leader, Denzel Anabayaka from Pampanga. 2nd Platoon Leader, Juanito Bojo Borromeo from Batangas with the company 1st Sergeant, Greg Carl Remotique. 2nd Battalion Commander, Mark Boco from Parañaque City with his staff, Ivan de la Cruz from Taguig City, John Christian Pabustan from Laguna, Emmanuel Simangan from Cainta Rizal, Philip Joseph Morales from Pasay City, and Junel Estiva from Laguna. Charlie Company Commander John Lee Santos from Mountain Province with his staff, Emerson Bangiak from Kalinga or Inside from Kalinga, and Mark Kapunay from Negros. 1st Platoon Leader, Mark Christian Maligmat from Cagayan de Oro. 2nd Platoon Leader, Noel Panes from South Cotabato, with the company 1st Sergeant Joshua Vela. Delta Company Commander Albert Lucas from Mountain Province with his staff, Buena Fred Salvador from Ilocos, Reynante Gumilab from Kalinga, Joson Agsalda from Ilocos Sur. 1st Platoon Leader, Ralph Darola from Leyte. 2nd Platoon Leader, Jerome Maglino from Batangas, with the company 1st Sergeant Jonathan De Vera.
As the colors pass in front of you, we request everyone to rise and render the appropriate courtesy. You may sit down after the colors have passed. Ladies and gentlemen, the colors, led by its color officer, Cadet First Class, Rex Zuniga Okshan from Taguig City. 3rd Battalion Commander Clinton Alcop from Mountain Province, Maynard Delfinalro from Pangasinan, Joe Vargas from Davao City, Gabriel Lopez from Manila, Nathaniel Bagulbagol from Batangas, Joshua Arpon from Leyte. Echo Company Commander Jason Vista from Agusan del Sur, Shalimar Sawate from Baguio City, Michael Viray from Manila, Leo Adeses from Samar. 1st Platoon Leader Emmanuel Ragma from Victoria Tarlac, Harvey Bar from Tarlac. With the company 1st Sergeant Junel Polcodino from Cebu, Foxtrot Company Commander Junjun Bayudan from Cavite, John Bascon from Cagayan de Oro, Sir Pedro from Davao, Reniel Manding from Bohol, 1st Platoon Leader Mark Anthony Estrella from South Cotabato, Paul Canillo from Cagayan de Oro, with the company 1st Sergeant Clarence de la Rosa from Pangasinan, 4th Battalion Commander Raymart Bangkala from Urdanera City, Maynard Tabayag from Camarines Sur, Mark Ancheta from Baguio City, Edwin Arcilla from Batangas, Crisel Jobinoan for General Santos City, Gulf Company Commander Emmanuel Abenir from Iloilo, Reden Ewas from Kalinga, Joram Harina from Batangas, Ken San Luis from Iloilo, 1st Platoon Leader Ray Di Maano from Cagayan de Oro, Charles Wency Gonzalo from Ilagan City, Hawk Company Commander Julius Del Prado from Taguig City, John Paul Matias from Davao Oriental, Prince Asentista from Cotabato, David Belaong from Lanao del Norte, 1st Platoon Leader Michael Segubre from Leyte, 2nd Platoon Leader Alexel Joyce Aco from Ilocos Norte, with the company 1st Sergeant Bart Monton from Leyte. Members of the Speakers Board, Thea Faye Florendo Valerta, Harold Louis Fernando Villar, Armela Alyar, Fem Chiquinto, and Kyle Bumanglag.
Mga pinuno. To! Mahal na Pangulo, tapos na po ang seremonya. Ang pinuno, ang tabay salong. Kalis! Tas! Sak! Ba! Rap sa kanan. Rap! Ang pinuno, pasulong. Kad! Kad! Drop!
That concludes our commencement exercises. In behalf of the Superintendent, Lieutenant General Ronnie S. Evangelista, Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Commandant of Cadets, Brigadier General Bartolome Vicente O. Bacaro, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the head of the academics group, Brigadier General Cheston D. Valencerina, Armed Forces of the Philippines. We thank you for being part of another milestone in the history of the Philippine Military Academy. To our graduates, the members of PMA MABALASIK Class of 2019, we bid you farewell and God bless. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat at mabuhay ang Republika ng Pilipinas.
Ikaw ang Pangulo para sa pagbabago. Sawa na ang bayan ko sa magnanakaw na tao. Madilim na kahapon, ikaw ang mataahon. Sa piling mo, di ko mawawala ang korupsyon. Tayo na, Pilipinas, tayo na magbago. Hawak kamay tayo para sa pag-asenso. Ikaw at ako, tayong lahat
May we request the parents, relatives, and other guests to remain seated until the President has left the grandstand. Attention in the area. May we request the parents, relatives, and other guests to remain seated until the President has left the grandstand. Thank you.
Masdan mo ang paligid, alam ang mga krimen, rape, droga at mga nakawan. Dapat nga mapigilan. Tayo na, Pilipinas, tayo na magbago. Hawak kamay tayo para sa pag-asenso. Ikaw at ako, tayong lahat kay Rodrigo Duterte, para sa tunay na pagbabago.
Why am I here? I am here because I love my country and I love the people of the Philippines.
Ikaw at ako, tayong lahat kay Rodrigo sa tunay na pag